Hey, friend. Life's be lifing over here. Anyone else feel like that? Life's be lifing over here. Not the dramatic movie soundtrack kind of a lot, but the kind where you're answering emails while you're making dinner, mentally planning tomorrow, wondering if you forgot to pay that bill, remembering that your kid needs something from school, and realizing that you've been wearing the same messy bun for 4 days. Anyone else? And then you decide that Monday is going to be your fresh start. Your fresh start. You're going to wake up at 5 a.m. You're going to drink the water. You're going to go for a walk, journal, meditate, meal prep, read 10 pages, stretch, become a completely different person. And then Tuesday happens and suddenly you're convinced, I can't do this. I am failing at this. Today, I want to talk about something completely different. What if you don't need a complete life makeover? What if you need an easier roadmap? One that works for you, women with real lives, real schedules, and real exhaustion, because that is real, right? Grab your coffee, throw in your earbud, and let's chat like we're sitting on the couch together. There was a time where I was driving somewhere new and I totally missed my turn. Instead of panicking, my GPS calmly said, recalculating. No judgment, no dramatic music, no, well, you obviously can't drive. Just, okay, here's another way. And I laughed at it because I don't do that to myself. I don't treat myself like, okay, just like pivot and recalculating and do another thing, right? One missed workout. Oh my gosh, I'm so inconsistent. I can't do it. One takeout dinner. Oh, well, we totally wanted to eat healthy and blah, blah, blah. And here we are having a takeout dinner. Or maybe 1 week of feeling totally overwhelmed and you just can't, I just can't do it. So now, oh God, I have to start all over on this thing that I'm trying. Okay, but what if I treated ourselves like the GPS? No shame, just recalculating, right? This could be a shift that could change everything. Small shifts with a big impact, right? We tend to believe that transformation has to be this huge dramatic thing like new planner, new wardrobe, new morning routine, new personality. But life usually changes because of the tiny decisions that we repeat over and over again. One extra glass of water, 5 more minutes outside, maybe reading one page, putting your phone down 15 minutes earlier, or for 15 minutes extra, whatever time you usually use it, taking 3 deep breaths before walking into your house. These don't feel life-changing until 6 months later, you turn around and you look back and you realize you're way more calm, you're happier, you're healthier, and you're more present. Big change is usually just small, tiny changes that stick around long enough. So instead of asking, what huge thing do I do today to change my outcome? Ask, what is one thing that would make today 1% better, 1 millimeter better? Maybe that's putting on real clothes. Maybe it's walking around the block, texting a friend, drinking that extra glass of water, folding one basket of laundry instead of 5. Just 1%, 1 millimeter. That is it. That is it. It doesn't need to be huge leaps, jumps, and all the things. Because I want to talk about why the small consistency, 1 millimeter, 1% beats this big overhaul. Because we've all done it. Started a workout program that lasts for 4 days, bought the planner, made the vision board, ordered the supplements, created the color-coded schedule. And then life is lifing over here. Life happened. The problem isn't that you're incapable. It's that you built a plan for your perfect robotic life instead of your actual human one. Your actual life that has sick kids, that has unexpected meetings, really low energy days. I mean, hormones, hello, stress, and laundry that somehow reproduces itself overnight. Consistency isn't perfection, it's returning. I'm going to say that again. It isn't perfection, it is returning again and again and again. Whether that is the next day or you skip a day and you come back and you return the day after, again and again. I want to tell you a little story about the walk that changed everything. So there was a season where I felt completely overwhelmed. I mean, we're talking like the kind where you can't take anymore and you're snippy and you're just like, I can't, that's it, I'm done. You're like done with everything. Okay. I kept thinking I need an hour to exercise. So I did nothing. And then one day I walked for 10 minutes. That was it. That was it. I just walked for 10 minutes. And then the next time 10 minutes turned into 15. And then it turned into 20. And eventually it became part of my life. Not because I forced myself to do it, because I made it easy enough to keep going. So sometimes the smallest step is the one that changes your direction. Instead of reading 10 pages, maybe you can only read one page. And then the next time you do it, it's 2 pages. And then the next time is five. And eventually you do get to that 10. Or maybe it's the same with meditation. Like, holy moly, let me tell you something. When I first started meditating, I was a woman who could not sit still. I could not sit still. I had to be doing stuff all the time. You want me to sit still and clear my mind? Excuse me? Like that seemed impossible to me. So I started really small. And I'm telling you, 30 seconds was hard. 30 seconds was hard. And then I worked up to it. I worked up to 1 minute, then 2 minutes, then 5 minutes. And now I can do it for however much time I need to. But I had to do it. I had to make it easy enough to actually complete. When I'm doing it, I'm taking the 1%, the 1 millimeter that's different, right? And then I'm celebrating that I actually did it and that I'm improving. That's how change happens. The smallest step is the one that changes your direction. So when life feels super heavy, because it will. There are times where life is going to feel so heavy. Some seasons are not about growth, they're about survival. Maybe you're caring for a family member. Maybe something has horrible has happened. Maybe you're starting over, healing. Maybe you're burnt out. Maybe you're just trying to hold everything together and it just feels like you're about to break. During those seasons, stop asking yourself how to fix your life. Instead, ask, what is my next right step? Not next month, not next year, just the next one, just the next step. Maybe it's just taking a shower. Maybe it's sending the email, making that appointment, eating lunch. Anyone else forget to eat when things are heavy? Maybe it's just going outside and sitting on your front porch for 5 minutes. One next step will create another, but you gotta know what your next one is. Back it way up. So let's make like a next right step list. Let's get a tool to do that. Because sometimes it can be hard when you're like, I don't know. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what the next right step is. I totally get it. Write this on a sticky note. Whenever you're overwhelmed, ask, what do I need? And we're talking back it way up. Hit the pause button. These are the questions you can ask yourself. What is one thing I need? It could be food. It could be water. It could be silence. It could be sunshine. Or what's one thing I can control? What do I mean by that? What can you do that you can change for yourself? Like, I need to take a nap because you can control that you can sleep, right? Or I need to eat. Or I need to take a walk, even if it's just down the street 2 blocks away and then turn around and come back. It's different. You're changing your pattern, you're moving it. Another one you can ask, what's one action I can take in the next 5 minutes? because maybe you're not feeling it. Maybe you're not feeling to do the things. Like maybe the dishes ain't happening, but you could fold a load of towels, or maybe you can go outside for 5 minutes, or maybe you can just go sit somewhere quietly for 5 minutes. Maybe you can just breathe. Any of those things. Maybe you just need to write everything that's in your head to get it out for 5 minutes. What's one action that you can take in the next 5 minutes? Only you're going to know what these answers are. But if you write these three questions, I'll repeat them again. If you write these three questions on a sticky note, have them on your phone, have them wherever, if you just cannot find your next step, ask these questions. What do I need? What's one thing I can control? What's one action I can take in the next 5 minutes? That's your roadmap. That's your roadmap to get you to the next right step. And put it somewhere to remind you to use it. So when hits the fan and you're overwhelmed and you can't do it and you're burnt out and all the things you're like, oh yeah, this, and you have something. It's there for you. It's your support. It's your foundation to get the next step. Okay. Another thing I want to talk about is rituals versus routines, because this one changed lots of stuff for me. A routine says I have to do these 10 things. A ritual is this is how I care for myself. Routine is like morning workouts. A ritual is 5 quiet minutes with coffee before the house wakes up. Routine, evening skincare. Ritual, washing the stress off of the day. One feels like another task, the other feels like a gift or care for yourself. Because you and me both know busy women do not need more checklists and more things to do. We need more moments that remind us that we're human and we're here to be and live, right? So let's reframe this whole starting over business. I want to retire that phrase. I'm starting over. Get that out of here. Because every time we say it, it feels like we're failing. So instead, let's say I'm starting from experience. Ooh, right? I'm starting from experience because you obviously learned something from before. And if you're going to do it differently, you're doing it from experience. You are not the woman that you were 6 months ago. You know more, you've learned more, you survived more. And every reset, every pause button, every coming back to you comes with wisdom and knowledge and not failure. That's growth. But what about when motivation is missing, right? What about that? Well, here's something that nobody tells us. Motivation is totally unreliable. Some days you feel super inspired and you're like on and go, go, go. Most days you're going to feel normal. And then some days it ain't it. You feel exhausted. You don't have the energy. You don't want to, right? The women who create change are not always motivated. They've simply made the first step or that next right step ridiculously easy. They don't commit to an hour. They might commit to 5 minutes. They don't commit to cleaning the whole entire house. They commit to clearing one counter space. They don't commit to writing a whole chapter of a book. They commit to one paragraph. The action that you take creates the motivation far more often than motivation creates action. If you're waiting to be motivated, you're going to be sitting there for a minute, a long time. So I want to give you some tools for your toolbox here. Because as you know, tools for your toolbox. I'm hoping that it's getting real full so you guys have a lot of things here that'll help you out. Especially when you're feeling overwhelmed and you ain't having it. If you have these tools, you don't even have to think about it. They're just there to help you, right? The 5 minutes, the 5 minute promise. Tell yourself, I only have to do this for 5 minutes. And if you stop after 5 minutes, guess what? You kept your promise to yourself. What does that do? Builds a lot of trust and confidence in yourself. Most of the time after 5 minutes, you'll keep going. But if you don't, who cares? You did the 5 minute promise. You did it. You win. It's a win. Either way, it's a win. You do the 5 minutes or you do longer. Win win. Number two, your personal reset button. If I could just put bells and whistles on this one. Every woman needs a reset plan, not a perfect plan, a realistic one. Might look like this: drink water, take a walk, listen to music, call a friend, take a shower, Go to bed earlier. Write down everything that's swirling in my head. That's a big one that I do to get it all out so I can actually have clear thoughts and clear thinking. Your reset button, your reset button might be completely different. Your reset button might be completely different for each thing. It is so important to have this list because maybe your reset button is to go for a walk, but guess what? It's not working this time. But then you pop music on and you dance it out or clean or do something with music, and now that's different. Different situations require different resets. The important thing, though, is deciding before it feels too overwhelming. Don't keep pushing until it's too overwhelming where you got to use 5 resets. Create an emergency plan while you're calm, a reset plan while you're calm, and then use it when it starts to feel chaotic so you can, instead of being at a 10, you can bring yourself back down to a 6. Okay? The joy or happiness list. Here's another tool. Here's something that I've noticed that women are incredible making the to-do lists, but not so great at making the happiness joy lists. We schedule appointments and meetings and practices and deadlines and all the things that we have to do. But when was the last time you intentionally scheduled something that simply made you smile, laugh, or have fun? Here's some ideas for that list, okay? Maybe it is turning music on and dancing in the kitchen, in your room. I don't know. Maybe it's taking a book and going and reading outside in the sunshine. Maybe it's visiting a bookstore. Maybe it's taking yourself out for coffee or going and watching a sunset or calling a friend that makes you laugh. I don't know. You might like to paint, create stuff. Maybe you like to be in the garden. Maybe you like to just sit on your front porch. Or maybe you like to listen to your favorite 90s playlist. Joy isn't something, and happiness and these things are not something that you earn after doing your checklist or productivity. It's something that gives you the energy to keep going. It helps you reset to keep going. Number 4, building your roadmap. So forget the 5-year plan for a minute. It's good to have that, but let's forget it for a minute. Let's make a roadmap that actually works. So ask yourself, what do I want to become? How do I want to feel? What would support that feeling? What drains that feeling? What's one tiny little habit that moves me closer, that 1%, that 1 millimeter? And instead of chasing perfection, build a life that feels lighter. One choice, one boundary, one walk, one laugh, one deep breath. Just one. 1 millimeter, 1%. Okay. Now for the weekly challenge. I've done this one before. It's called the 7-day reset. So for the next 7 days, choose one small action from each category. Move. Maybe you want to walk for 5 minutes, or maybe you want to stretch. Hydrate. Drink 1 glass of water. Maybe it's the joy or happiness. Do something that makes you smile. Maybe it's connection. Maybe you want to send an encouraging text. Mindset. Replace I have to start over with I'm recalculating. Write these down and just see if you can do them each day. Not because you're trying to become perfect, but because you are proving to yourself that small actions matter, because small actions can cause big results. Okay, let's do a little recap here. Before we wrap up, I want you to take this with you. There's a 1% rule. The next right step question. Rituals instead of rigid routines. The 5-minute promise. Your personal reset button. Your joy happiness list will build this lighter roadmap. It'll build it around who you are and not who you think you should be. So, friend, if there's one thing that I hope you remember from today's conversation, it's this: that you do not need to blow up your life to change your life. You don't need another Monday, another planner, or permission. You just need your next right step, because tiny shifts become the new habits, and the new habits become the new beliefs, and those beliefs become a life that actually feels like yours and that you love to live. So wherever you're listening today, in the school pickup line, folding laundry, walking the dog, or hiding in your bathroom for 5 minutes of peace, I want you to know this. You're not behind. You're not failing. You are simply recalculating. And sometimes the easier road is the one that finally gets you to where you are meant to go. If this episode encouraged you, share it with another woman who needs that reminder that she doesn't have to start over. She just has to keep going. She just has to keep moving. Until next week, keep releasing your inner power. Take one small step, and remember, your life doesn't change in one giant leap. It changes in those tiny small choices you make every single day. You have got this, my friend. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, learned something new, or got some gems to take away that will boost your week. I release a new episode each week, so make sure to click that follow button to not miss what is coming next. If you love the show or want to share a story, send me a quick message. I love hearing from listeners. If you know someone who needs this episode in their life, go ahead and share it with them. I'm sure they would love you for it. If you are looking to connect more, check out the show notes for all the social links, my website. I would love to hear how this episode helped you and what you loved about it. If there's a topic you want to hear about, send that too. All right, ladies, now is the time to release your inner power.